Okay.
3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Talking Stone podcast. For viewers who've listened to the last 2 episodes, you'd notice, wait a minute, they didn't say stick. Well, that's because I am stupid. When I was doing the market research for the name of this podcast 1 year ago, I decided, oh, what a great name, the Talking Stick. No one's gonna use that ever. And when I looked it up, no one used it. But then, all of a sudden, 1 year later, someone had the bright idea of, I'm going to use that name. And they got to it first, even though I thought of it first. So we shifted gears to the Talking Stone. Anyway, I'm joined today by.
Ryan Foley,
And Kate Ryan.
no relation.
Yep, no relation.
And of course, I'm your illustrious host, Scott. So today, we're talking about a very interesting topic that no one wants to think about at
12:30.
12:40 in the morning
It's this-
or afternoon. So we're just going to get right into it. Today we're talking about philosophy, particularly on things like the meaning of life. So, what makes life worth it to you? And how do you cope with challenges or setbacks in your quest for that meaning?
So usually I don't talk about this, in the middle of the day. I usually do it to myself. I usually just think to myself at night at like 3 a.m. in my bed. But I'd say it's just got to be fulfilling. We're only here for so long. You can die any moment. Any of your friends can die. So I think it's more or less just enjoying your time here and just having very like true relationships with friends and family and people and being able to be there for them and then be there for you, because that's in the end is all that really matters, is those friendships and relationships.
I totally agree with that. I think what makes life important is just the relationships that you build with other people. Um, Life is one of those things where there's so many emotions that are going through your head all the time. And having people that you can lean on and be there for you is just something that makes life the way it is and makes it amazing.
Yeah, because you can always have like a therapist or something, but like I would much rather talk about my actual problems and tell my friends who I am and like really discuss that stuff with them and then feel a true, genuine connection. Because it's like, after all, we're all just brother and sister on this planet. Like, you can hate each other, but in the end, what's that going to do? It's just going to be negative. So I feel like definitely having valuable relationships that people, you can call someone up and be like, I want to go get coffee right now. I'm bored. Like, let's go hang out. And then you end up hanging out for the rest of the day, just doing nothing. Like, that's, a good relationship for me, I guess.
Yeah, those are always the best relationships because you just have each other to lean on and they're there to make you laugh whenever you need that, because sometimes even like you don't want to talk about whatever's going on in your head or in your life, and sometimes you just need a good laugh.
Yeah, honestly, just last night, this is like my best friend. He was like, he's going through a difficult time, but he just like had to let it out. He just cried and he just needed someone to be there just to like hug him and just be there and just like talk with him. And then after that, we just like start laughing because like, why, why, like, it's not that deep, we're crying, but it's like, it sucks right now, but we have each other. We're alive. We got woken up today. Like, it could be way worse. Stuff might not be going well, but we are alive, and it could be definitely, as I said, way, way, way worse.
I think, you guys definitely heard this. Our headmaster, president, Dr. Kipain, always says this: when I wake up in the morning, I am so happy and I thank God that I woke up. But it's something I really appreciate. Like, every day, we're not promised. So the fact that we get a chance to wake up and we get given that chance every day, I love that. It's just something so special to me.
Yeah.
It definitely is. I mean, at any moment, your life can be taken from you in whatever type of circumstances that it is. And just being grateful to even just wake up and to have food on the table and to have a house to live in or to have family members to lean on. Because not everybody has that in their life either. Some people have those deep struggles. So it's just one of those things that as you grow more grateful and grateful and grateful, then it just life becomes better. You feel happier, you feel more joyful for sure.
I think what we all take, at least for me, I definitely take it for granted is waking up and being in school, especially being at a school like High Point, you know, I'm forever grateful. And, you know, I don't have to be here, but I am. You know, I wake up, I have a meal plan, I have a bed to sleep in, I have friends around me, I have classes to go to, I have things to do. I could just be working at McDonald's right now. Like, honestly, if I was born in a different family or just in a completely different area, like, it's pretty crazy because that just motivates me even more to live in the moment and do the most I can in that time, you know, because I couldn't have, like, it's very easy that I wouldn't have all of this, you know?
Hmm.
Definitely, for sure.
So that kind of goes into my next question. How do you cope with the challenges or setbacks that you come when you find your own meaning? So, for example, my meaning of life, I love making people smile. It's one of my favorite things. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast. It's just something that's so special to me. But I'm also ambitious, right? That's another part of my meaning. I can't just sit there and make people laugh and make people smile. I need to do more than that. How do I reach more people? How do I get a national stage? How do I get an international stage? And a part of that is, oh, let's start a podcast. Or it's a part of, you know, figuring out how do I reach more people? How do I affect the people in my immediate area? And a lot of that is tough. Like, for example, a setback I had recently was with this podcast was deadlines. Like, I've
Mhm.
not been sticking to my own deadlines, and therefore I'm a little behind when it comes to editing and recording. Like, I wanted to have a lot more episodes recorded before this point, but we're here, episode 3. And that's a little bit of a setback, but now I put myself on a hard deadline, so it got me in shape. But that's not a real setback. Like, it's a personal setback, but it's not the setback. Another setback I've come into recently was with a class. Tell me if this makes sense to you. A, oh no, B, A, A, F, A.
Is that a rhyming?
No, these are my midterm grades.
Oh, whoa. Interesting.
One more time.
Huh.
B, A, F, A.
Did
Does
you
that
miss
ma-
it?
I think I've been there before, though.
What happened was my teacher informed me over fall break. I don't have any of your homework assignments that you submitted on paper, and you're welcome to resubmit them with a late penalty.
Did you
What?
did you hand him in?
I did hand them in.
Oh my goodness. That's her fault.
That
That's a terrible way
That-
to handle that situation.
Did you just
as a
like lose him in a
professor.
house fire?
Yeah,
Like,
what? It's like my dog ate my homework.
but it's the teacher saying, "Yeah,
For
the dog
real.
ate your homework, and I'm giving you an F, even though I saw it." You know.
I witnessed you hand him in. However, I lost it, so that's on you.
So, when I first got this email over fall break, I cursed like a sailor. My friend on the phone was like, "I never heard you say these words," and I'm like, I'm upset. Then I found out. Oh, I emailed her. There was a little bit of a miscommunication on both of our parts, but she didn't just lose my homework. She lost one assignment, but on Blackboard, when she found the other assignments, she graded them a lower grade, and it's a late penalty because on Blackboard, since she wants it in paper, it's technically late. So I thought she was giving me a late penalty for all my work. It turns out I've been doing the work wrong the whole time, and she never told me.
Oh my god.
So I have
That's
70s
foul.
on these. I have 70s on these homework assignments, and I'm like, well, gee, thanks for letting me know I was doing so great on these assignments, and don't know why you waited to tell me till we're on the 5th one. And that's a little bit of a setback. Now, it's not too far beyond recovery because I need to submit one of the bigger assignments that I did end up missing. And when I submit that, we're good. And I'll shoot back up to a B probably.
That's
But
good.
that was like, that fall break, I'm like, what am I going to do? Do I drop this class? And this class is attached to another class. So if I drop that class, I have to drop a class that I have an A in. So this is where the complications get complicated.
Mhm.
But that was like a setback. Now I'm almost overcame it, but that's just one of the situations I'm in right now, and I'm like, whoa.
Mhm. At least for me, what I do, like, for instance, I had one midterm that was not very good.
Mhm.
You know, it was philosophy. It was like ethics in the good life. Like, it's an easy class. It's just the fact that I didn't apply myself, like,
Real.
whatsoever. So then that tanked my GPA. And then for me, that was a setback. But then I was very frustrated with myself. But then I was like, all right, I can be mad at myself, or I can realize that I messed up. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I haven't been on top of my stuff. So I can just, moving forward, be the best I can and just get all A's in this class because it's easy to do that. Just I didn't try. So that I feel like for me, whenever I have like a setback, like academically, it's just like more motivating to actually do it, you know? Like come back and like show her that, like, yeah, I messed up. I didn't turn in that test on time, but like I'll do every other test on time and get like an A on it, you know?
That's kind of how I was too. I mean, I took a midterm for my human dimensions of music class literally last week before fall break, and I ended up getting an F as well because I just didn't apply myself to the work. I think it's because this is the first one of my first more music oriented classes where I'm learning about the material that I am, and I kind of have to force myself to find the interest for it. But that's also something that I'm working on in my personal life as well, because I think learning something new every day is such an important skill in life to have, just to be open minded to whatever comes your way and whatever situation that arrives in your life. Like that's definitely a part of my purpose, is just applying myself to something new, whether it's kickboxing, jujitsu, creating a podcast where I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but I'm learning as I go along. And that's why I'm so grateful to be a guest on your podcast today, because I'm already learning so much from you with how to set everything up.
For people who don't know, Kate is a superstar. Again, you just mentioned 2 sports that you're playing, and that's not even all of them.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
also
even,
play field hockey.
that's wicked. Do you go to Battleborn?
Dude,
Or
yeah.
I see. I gotta go to Battleborn. That's the thing.
Battleborn's so fun.
I did Muay Thai back at home, but then I just like
Uh-huh.
did not like sign up here. I
Oh
just
my
don't
gosh, you
time.
have to.
I need
It's
to.
such a good. It really teaches discipline too. Not to go off the topic, but it really mixed martial arts sports like that will help you mentally, because you'll figure out um where either you need to learn to control your anger or just like let things go. It helps you really like help with that, because all you're doing is like hitting bags and learning all the tricks and all of that stuff. But it also just helps you find a sort of peace within your life, because it really just has the capacity to do that. And not a lot of sports are that physical. So it's definitely helps teach you discipline and how to just like commit yourself to a sport. But yeah.
Yeah, to add, I know we're off topic.
We're
I just
not
want
off
to add,
topic. This has to do with it. Keep
I'd
going.
like to add on to that. I feel like, yeah, especially for like those sports, it's like you don't get that like you don't push yourself that hard in, like, you know, football. You get a break every down, you know. But with this, it's like you're going 5 minutes of just straight, just beating the heck out of each other, you know, or you're just going like 5 minutes on the bag, just nonstop. Like you have to like calm yourself down. You have to like realize it's like, yeah, it's very good because it teaches you patience, and then it's also like, yeah, no, like if you can do that, you could probably do anything. You know, it's like very difficult, but it's very good.
And this kind of circles back to your meaning of life. It teaches you how to be a better person, which will help you pursue your meaning a lot better. You know, if you have more discipline, then when a setback does come, you're not going to be like, oh, shucks, I need to stomp and punch a wall. You're going to be like, okay, well, I've been punching people's faces in for my entire life, and I know how to do it the correct way and how to do it the safe way, and I know how to do it the way without aggression. I know how to control myself. I know how to hold back. I'm not going to punch the wall. I'm just going to and move on with my life. So to kind of move on to another question I had, where does religion kind of fit in to your meaning of life? Now, this isn't the religion episode, which I'm hoping to have maybe next episode be the religion one. We'll see. But I kind of want to touch it a little bit. How does religion help you find your meaning on life? Or if you don't have a religion, tell me some.
I mean, for me at least, you know, I'm a Christian. I've like believe that it's like it helps me cope with the idea that it's like is there anything after this? And if so, like, even if there isn't, like, why are we here? Like, it's kind of scary just to think that we're on a rock in the middle of nowhere and an asteroid can come down like any second and just destroy everyone, or like there can just be a tsunami. Like, I think that's terrifying. So I feel like I have comfort in realizing that, like, hearing the stories of, Jesus Christ and his word, like, for me, that's very comforting because it's like, yeah, the Lord sent down his son to tell us all this stuff. And it's like, hey, you should love each other, as I love you guys, because, the dude on the cross right next to him who was like crucified, he's did bad things, but he's like, remember me when I'm up in heaven, It's just the fact that it's like, it's very scary to not have something outside of that, but realizing that there might be something out there that is just all loving is just a very comforting thing for the mind.
Yeah, I think for me, I grew up Catholic. However, I realized that I was a lesbian in 8th grade. So definitely religion has always been one of those topics that I have had to continue to think about pretty hardly, because I just was, trying to figure everything out within my life. And I think for me, I believe I'm spiritual. I do believe there's a God up there who created us. However, I also believe that, like, for my interpretation of the Bible, I believe it's the human version of God's word. I think a lot of it is misinterpreted, or I just fully believe that if there's a God up there, he wouldn't punish people for being human. I think he would forgive everybody, which wouldn't then make sense for why there would be a hell. I think that hell is a fear placed on people to try to get them to not steal, not commit murder, and do all that stuff, because some people have those mental disabilities where they are psychopaths or sociopaths. And I think that is just a way to try to get them to stop. However, I think it's just something we need to look in more mentally. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But yeah.
Mhm.
Now, there's a lot to break down with what you said, and I'm using every fiber of the being to hold back because this is not the religion episode. So I want to uh, remind me to bring you back on for the
Okay.
religion episode.
Yeah, I love to talk about this
Okay,
stuff
yeah.
too.
No, I do too. It's definitely a really cool
It's-
topic to talk about, because everybody has so many different opinions about it, or like beliefs about it. So no, definitely, for sure.
Well, one thing I did find interesting about what you said, Ryan, like using God as a tool to help you cope, like when you have a setback, being like, God, give me the strength to not punch this wall. This per wall, I know, I keep using it. I definitely think it could help you, put some restraints on yourself, like what you said, fear of eternal damnation. I definitely think it helps, and
Mhm.
some parts of the Bible I also think are a little bit human twisted, but I don't think all of it is. I think most of
Yeah,
it is
just some
actually
parts.
His word. It also depends on the translation
Mhm.
too. Like,
There's so many different versions of it. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
so moving on from that, how does our culture and like where we grow up affect our view on the meaning of life? For example, if you live in a very, let's say you live here in America and your house is very like um not goal oriented, but like success oriented. Are you making enough money? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing that? How would that change your meaning of life? Like, how you grow up or the culture you're surrounded by affect your meaning?
That's a great question because I feel like I know I have a bunch of peers who, like, they always talk about how much pressure their parents put on them, and it feels like for them all they care about, like, is just, I want to make $1 billion and I want to have like all these things. That might just be what their dad did, because he has a bunch of boats, bunch of houses. Like, that's what they grew up seeing. But then also there could be like my other friend, he is in a similar situation, but he's like, I can have all the money in the world, but I never feel like I could be happy. So it's like, I feel like it definitely depends on the person, but I feel like ultimately, I can't meet a single person who would be like, I don't want a family. Like, I feel like it's having like those relationships, those brotherhoods, those like sisterhoods, like being able to like have those people. That's what matters. No one on their deathbed is gonna say, "Oh, I wish I bought this. I wish I went there." It's like they want their family there. They want those people who've always been for them, like there. Like I think that that's what it is. Like for me, I feel like that's a universal thing.
Mm.
No, I totally agree with that. I think it definitely depends on the way you grew up. But for me, my parents always raised me to realize that we were blessed in a sense of the money that my parents have been able to put on the table for me. However, I was raised to have this sort of gratitude and realize that it's just materials, and to try to place some of that money in nonprofit organizations and in places where it can help people and help people put food on the table for either their kids or for their family, whoever it is. And I definitely do agree that relationships are definitely one of the most important parts of life, no matter what type of relationship it is, whether it's a romantic relationship, a platonic relationship, like a family, like brother sister relationship, parents relationships. Those are definitely some of the most important relationships in life because they just help provide that meaning, and they're there for you, and they kind of help develop who you are. If they are open-minded, then you're raised to be an open-minded individual. If your parents are closed minded, then they're more likely to teach you more closed minded viewpoints. But I think everybody is just learning and can learn from each other. But
Do you think because your family is either open minded or closed minded that the opposite effect can happen? Because they're open minded, you're more closed minded, or because they're closed minded, you're more open minded?
yeah, I think it kind of depends on the person and their perspective, or what they've been through in their life, or what they've seen. It just kind of depends on who you are.
Mm.
I find that really funny because that
Mhm.
is so true. Because I'm an incredibly open-minded person, like incredibly. But then my sister is the most closed-minded person you will ever meet. Like
Mhm.
it's like hilarious. It's with polar opposites. It's like when we go on vacation, I'm like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Like I see a thing on like my Instagram reels. I'm like, oh, let's go to there. Like that seems fun. She's like, oh, I just want to stay on a cruise. Like I want to stay on the resort, but I'm like, there's so much things to do. Like she only wants to do what she wants to do. She's never gonna be like, but I find that funny because my mom, she's a very open-minded person, but I guess it's just the person who you are. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I was taught by my dad too at a young age, like try to do something every day that will like stepping out of your comfort zone to an extent. Like I'm not saying I would go and like try to fight a bear, but he was like try to do something that's out of your comfort zone, something that makes you nervous, whether it's going to a social event that you've never been to before, putting yourself in a situation where you get the opportunity to speak your mind and learn more about yourself and learn more about others and their perspectives as well. But definitely, for sure.
Mm.
Mhm.
So, if you could give a piece of wisdom to the viewers at home, some advice on how you tackle life, what would it be?
Definitely just try something new every day. I think, we're on a floating rock. So, really, there's things that could go wrong if you're safe about it. Don't go doing anything too crazy, but just, try something new every day. Put yourself in a situation that maybe you haven't been in before, something that can help you just grow. And because anxiety is also a big part of life, just stepping out of that comfort zone, whether it's social anxiety or whatever kind, it all exists and everybody has it. So just remember, if you're nervous, everybody else is nervous as well, and they have those nerves too. But yeah.
I think you just take everything like moment to moment. I feel like anxiety comes when you're thinking about the future or thinking about the past. Like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. Like, yeah, it happened. Yeah, I
Mhm.
did it, or I didn't do it. There's nothing I can change. So just find solace and just staying in the moment, be like, yeah, I'm at where I'm at. And all I can do is think about what I'm doing moving forward, you
Mm.
know?
Definitely, I totally agree with that for sure.
I feel like some advice I could give to the viewers at home is when that person tells you, hey, you can't do it, And I'm not talking about like an actual human being. I'm talking about the voice inside your head when he says, "No, don't do it." Tell that voice to screw the heck off. Now, like that's what I do at least. Like I get filled with negative thoughts all the time and I'm just like buzz off, screw off. And normally the words I say is a little bit more PG, but YouTube. But I think I think having that discipline to be able to differentiate yourself from what you want and what the negative voices in your head want is very important. Because without being able to control those negative thoughts and being able to be like, hey, now's not the time. Go back into your box. You're gonna be held back a little bit. So that's my advice. Be able to tell that voice, screw off.
Yep.
I like that.
I like that too. I'm gonna start using that. Whenever I get the negative thoughts, I'll just be like, screw off.
That being said, we've come to the end. I have been Scott Iolachi.
Kate Ryan.
And Ryan Foley.
Is there anywhere the viewers at home can find you?
No.
Okay, my Instagram handle is Kate J Ryan with 2 N's, and that is my social media, and you can find me there.
What about your podcast?
Oh, and my podcast Instagram handle is Scoops with Kate and Trey. Just all one word.
In fact, you'll see me on that podcast soon. With that being said, have a great night, ladies and gentlemen.